Hey everybody, welcome back. I am your host, Joe JDF Foster, and this week's episode will be on the movie Can't Buy Me Love. Before we get into my review of this movie, I want to thank those who have subscribed and actually taken a look at my previous videos and liked them, as well as welcome any new ones, any new people. Um, if I in any way entertain you or inform you to the extent that you like, then I have done my job. And I would like for you all, and if you really enjoy it, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave me a comment on something you'd like me to discuss, whether it be a review on a movie or show, or even music, or if it just be on a thought in general. And if I can do it, you get the credit for it. Now, on to my review. This movie, Can't Buy Me Love, yes, it is named after the Beatles song of the same title, came out in 1987. The cast in it is Patrick Dempsey, very, very young Patrick Dempsey, though not as young as people might believe. At this, um, who plays one of the main characters in it, Ronald Miller. Many know him as Dominic Morgan on Devils TV series. Andrew Hennings from Sweet Home Alabama, which is actually where I remember him from most. Mark Kincaid, the detective in Scream 3. But also, the main place people seem to remember him from, or at least when I asked, and as well as when I looked it up, Dr. Derek Shepherd on Grey's Anatomy. Playing the female main lead in this movie, because it is a romantic comedy or rom-com, is Amanda Peterson as Cindy Mancini. Ronald's character in this film is more of a geek, whereas Cindy is the popular girl cheerleader, stereotypical 80s opposites attract film is what you're dealing with. In this one, like I said, Amanda Peterson plays Cindy. But the other thing she was known for was Jack's Place TV series, A Year in the Life TV series. Unfortunately, Amanda Peterson died in 2013 in her early 40s. Though I may have that wrong on the exact year. Most places have it as 2013. I did find a couple of places who had it as 2015. I think the 2013 is actually right. Anyways, the point is she had had surgery recently, and the medication she was on, but but apparently when the coroner did her review, it turns out that she had accidentally overdosed. Also in this movie is a very young Seth Green as the little brother to Patrick Dempsey's character, known as Chucky Miller. And I will admit, looking at Seth at this age, it did remind me of the Good Guy dolls and make me think of Chucky. And he even had a sense of humor that was close to Chucky's, just not as dark. And he didn't have that killer thing as badly, though he did have a few. But what Seth Green's known for outside of this movie, various voices on Adult Swim's Robot Chicken, Chris Griffin and Neil Goldman on Animation Domination's Family Guy on Fox, Howard the Duck on Guardians of the Galaxy TV series, Scott Evil in the Austin Powers movies, and to me, what actually got his career famous, Oz on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where he played the werewolf slash musician. But another movie he did came out, and I forget the title of it, but it had to do with rollerblading. And he's actually really good in it too. Now, as for the plot of this film, after and this one's not really a big spoiler, but it does have a minor touch to it, so spoiler alert. After an unfortunate incident at a party, Cindy Mancini agrees to a deal with Ronald Miller to pretend they are a couple in exchange for him paying $1,000 $1,000. But what happens when the lie starts to become the truth? Interesting note about this, while it sounds, the original title for this, okay, yeah, sorry, I got tongue-tied and my mind got frosted for a moment. And my mind froze for a moment. The original title for this movie was actually Boy Rents Girl, because of him paying $1,000. But it was changed because of unfavorable reviews towards the name, and it was changed shortly before the release to Can't Buy Me Love. But the thing is, Boy Rents Girl isn't really an accurate title either, because he didn't rent her. He rented her company. And what makes this worse is that it wasn't really renting, it was a trade-off. Because the $1,000, as I mentioned in the plot summary, was actually used to pay for a jacket she had ruined, that she needed the 1,000 in order to get a new one. And he agreed to pay for it if she agreed to the deal. Okay, and now on to an interesting rumor I found in this, because I could only find it in a couple of places, but I couldn't find anywhere that verified this. At the time that this movie was made, Amanda Peterson was actually a high school student age, having only been 15. But Patrick Dempsey was 20. Also, a rumor associated with this is that during this time when they were filming this movie, Amanda Peterson had a traumatic experience on set, which would follow her later in life. And again, I say that both of these are rumors because I could only find them in a couple of spots, and I couldn't find anywhere that it was using to verify those spots. That it was using to verify it. Verify either one of them. Okay. Interesting note about Patrick Dempsey. He's actually a collector and a race car driver outside of acting. That actually surprised me. Also, another note that surprised me, he used all his money from this movie to buy his first car, a 1963 Porsche 356 convertible. And I looked at this multiple times to make sure that I wrote it down correctly. So if I've got the car titled wrong, blame the place that listed it. I mean, blame multiple sites that listed it, because I tried to make sure that I actually had that correct. And the film was actually shot on location in Tucson, Arizona. There is a rumor, however, that the Screen Actors Guild sent reps to try and prevent high school students from playing extras in the film, as the film was done non-union. While the drama club at the high school didn't participate, the plan ultimately failed, as there were many people cast as extras. And the remake of this film, which more people would know, starring Nick Cannon, Christina Milian, and Steve Harvey, is known as Love Don't Cost a Thing, which was also a title that was an option when the original was made, but they didn't go with. And to me, I don't see why they didn't go with it, because Love Don't Cost a Thing makes more sense. But I think the titles could have been switched on these two, and it would have made more sense. Even though they are similar in their ideas, but they take on different images slightly. And Roger Ebert, I disagree with his pick as well. The man, I give it to him for most films I've seen. I'd agree with him on his ratings. This one, however, I disagreed with, because he gave it half a star, while giving the remake 3 stars. Personally, I think this one should have got 3 stars, but the remake, I wouldn't have given half a star. I'd have given it 1.5 to 2, because it wasn't bad, it just wasn't as good. Also, in this film, there's a line, I'm going to edit it because of language. The guy says, "You crapped on my house," but the way he says it and the action he takes in it actually reminded me of the line from The Godfather, where it says, "You broke my heart." And I think that the way the line's delivered, that this was intentional and deliberate. I think it was intentional, and it was fitting to the scene in the way it was done. And another thing about this film, I mean, okay, now I'm moving on to my final notes and the grade and recommendation all in one. Okay, first off, we're going to start with the good and the bad of this film. The bad, I couldn't really find anything in it. The good, the film flows very nicely. It doesn't have like any spots where it seems like it's dragged out, or any spots where it's shortened to the point that you're wondering, why did they have that scene in there when it served no purpose later on. I mean, when it served no purpose except to take up time. And it doesn't go overboard in teaching lessons that it presents. One of them being in the coming of age styling films, the importance of being oneself, and why trying to be something you're not has its disadvantages, and what it can cost you in the end. My final grade for this film is an A. Like I said, because I couldn't find anything bad with it, that helps its grading out, and the good only pushed it even further ahead, and so that's why it gets an A. And my recommendation: Watch multiple times. Watch it as a couple. Watch it by yourself. And watch it with the family. Because I, because at worst, I would have given this film a PG rating for language. Maybe PG-13 for sexual themes, as some things are implied but not actually shown or said. I mean, said or done. I mean, shown or done. Now, um, thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing back from you.